Hello, this is Isabel. I'm so sorry I had to redo this streaming because I had a little problem with showcasing the PowerPoint. So this is a new version that I'm posting immediately after it's done. So I will share with you right now the PowerPoint. So here we go. Okay, three top realtor secrets. So I shared with you the French version right before Christmas, but I thought this would be great to have an English version because most of you are English speakers and someone showed interest on the French video. So today I'm going to share with you a secret that I learned in the past year. So firstly, what is my mission with what I'm doing online? My mission is to help you build skills and potential so that you can gain financial and emotional freedom. So, sharing with you everything I learned more recently with real estate so that you can grow your skills. Tonight, I'm going to share with you information that's going to be particularly relevant for ambitious leaders, realtors, whether you're a beginner or an experienced person. This is not for you if you're not serious about your career or if you're not ready to take action. So I will share a little bit about me because there might be some new visitors on my channel. I will share my first secret, second secret, and finally my third secret and why I chose EXP. So a brief introduction about me. So again, if you're new on this channel, you don't know me, to make it very short for you, I went to the US when I was 18, so was 17, 18. I wanted to build a lifestyle, so a job with a lifestyle that goes with it. I went there, I was young, so I got a lot of experience there. I realized I was more of an international profile than a US wannabe profile, so I didn't stay there. It was an adventure for me, but I didn't stay there. I ended up going to Paris and Switzerland, and I show you a little bit the companies that I work for, mostly international companies. So I would say I have two parts in my career. The first one is really the international business part, where I was a worldwide professional. And really, the turn of my career is 2015 when I really went solo. So at that time, I decided this is it. I want to have my own business. I started the brand Isabel Litzler. If you're on my channel, that means you've experienced my career coaching or you follow what I say about working and living abroad, and more especially in Switzerland. And in 2023, last year, I made a turn in my consulting where I started real estate, working in real estate. So that was the last piece. So without further ado, the first secret I wanted to share with you in real estate is about mindset. So why is mindset so important? Oops. So mindset is important because that's really where it starts in anything that you do. So what I always say is, if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? So the first thing is really to define clear objectives. Why do you want to choose a career? Which things do you like to do? Which things you want to stop doing, which is just as important, by the way. And finally, did you get a chance to do a career assessment? If you haven't had the chance, maybe this is something that you should be doing, and you're welcome to contact me for that part as well. I have a lot of tools I use for career assessment that I'm happy to share with you if you want to do that. So the vision board, this is something really a tool that I use with mindset because I realize I'm a visual person. So if I see visually where I want to be, it's helping me with the planning part. A lot of people write things, which is fine too. I mean, it doesn't really matter which tool you're using. I'm just sharing the one because it's about my experience. So I'm just sharing the one that has worked for me. So really, for me, what worked very well was putting everything in a vision board with pictures. So copying and pasting photos of hobbies I want to start or places I want to travel to. So I posted everything basically on a board. So I show you right now what it should look like, but actually you can do your own. So So this is something I took from the internet. So your vision board could be, things that you want to achieve in your job. So let's say you want to work more as a team in your work, or in the family part, you want to have a husband or a wife, you want to have a pet. Maybe you want to travel. I mean, you can have different sections as well. So the idea is not to show you like this is the vision board, but you can get the idea is that you basically have a blank canvas, and you put photos of all the things that you want to do, people you want to meet, hobbies you want to take on. Maybe it's a financial objective. How much do you want to make this year, next year, etc. So after you have your job board, your vision board put together, really it's about understanding that you have to be adaptable. So when things shift, you have to be adaptable to that this vision board may not be stable. At the end, when you look at your job board at the end of the year, or vision board, I don't know why I want to say job board, your vision board, you realize, well, some things might have changed and it might not be your fault. So if I take the example of real estate again, last year was not very good. So if you had in your vision board that, let's say, you wanted to sell, I don't know, 10 homes, and you realize at the end of the year you didn't sell 10 homes, well, again, this adaptability factor, the market wasn't working so well. So objectives may shift. You have to give yourself also some flexibility. And also, I think it's great to have objective, because you may realize also that if you didn't meet any of your objectives, I like the idea also of being smart enough to realize that maybe this is not the right business or the right goal for you. And unfortunately, I know people who have the same goal for 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years, and they're still not biting in it. They still don't achieve their goal. So at some point, intelligence is also telling you maybe you need to do something else. That's why I say your objectives may shift, or maybe you need to go into something else linked to real estate. What I learned is also that real estate is a good teacher. You will definitely be tested up to your limits. So you will find that real estate is going to be people are going to test you, people are going to challenge you, plans change all the time. So if you're someone who has a hard time dealing with change in general, that's going to be tough, but just be aware of that. So this is me in front of the first home that I sold. So this was my first mandate way when I started last year. So it was the winter, February, I believe. So yeah, about almost a year from now. So this was the first house that I had to sell. It wasn't the easiest one either, but actually it was great experience, because if you start with something difficult, then anything can be easier after that. So that was my first mandate, 99 square foot house. That's basically why I would say it's a great way to start, with a home or with an apartment, something like that. And you can get that experience. So after you're preparing your mental, I would say almost you exercise your mental strength. So you know who you are, you know that you want to go into real estate. That's something to really question, is that the right path? So you decide you want to go into real estate, you have your vision board, you know where you're going, you know what you need to do to get there. Then after that, it is going to be about networking, because networking is going to be essential to your success, and I'll share why. So I had to start a network from zero. In my channel, I talk a lot about networking, and I thought, well, in a way, people who are watching me online could say, well, it's easy for you. You lived in Switzerland, you did business in Switzerland, so you already have an acquired network. And at that time, when I was sharing my experience in Switzerland, I did have, I still do have it, but I was working with an existing network. Now, in real estate, now I live in a different part of the world. I live in France. I'm no longer in the Geneva area. So I had to start a new network last year in real estate. And that was a huge challenge, because you can really say I started from scratch. I really started from base zero, because again, my acquired network was in the Geneva area. In this area where I'm at, started from base zero. So what did I do? I actually applied what I teach, or what I taught for so many years. So the first one was to attend a local event in real estate. So what I've been teaching is always go with events that are a little bit more focused and specialized. This is where you're going to get your best network, because you tend to meet people that are in similar businesses, and it's going to be a little bit easier. So rule number one in terms of networking, go to local events, meet all the players in your local area. So I was able to get all the business cards. This was a forum with booth. So I saved a lot of time there with getting to business there. Number two is I built my online profile. So this is also something that I've been saying to people: work on your online branding. Make sure you have a page, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, and you post your photo. Also, show what you're doing on a regular basis so that people see you as a person of interest in your local community. Number three, and those two are not necessarily something you would do for any type of network, only for salespeople. So I would say special mention for people who are in commercial business or sales is you will have to do a bit of cold calling. I had to do it, not my preferred part of the job, but if you're starting from a base zero in terms of network, you're going to have to go through a little bit, push yourself a little bit in the mud there. You have to, because no one is going to wait for you and say, hey, you know what, Isabel, I have 5 people I can introduce you who are ready to do business with you. It doesn't happen. So I had to go through the trenches, get my hands a little bit dirty, and pull on my sleeves and say, okay, today I'm going to contact people I don't know and that don't know me. That's very scary. So I had to do the cold calls. Most of the time, I would say it worked very well. I mean, you have to prepare yourself. I think when people say in real estate or any sales job, you get a lot of hangups and people are rude, etc. It's because you haven't prepared yourself very well before getting on the phone. So make sure you have a mindset again of what you're going to talk about, how you're going to approach it. And if you feel great in your head, you're a very nice person, it's going to go fine. And finally, and that's really a work in progress for me. I haven't joined a club here where I'm based right now, but it's part of my plan is to join an association or a club where I could, maybe do something interesting whilst people get to know me. I would say pick something unrelated to your work so that you just go with the hobby. And then you're going to meet people that are like-minded, and that's where the connection is going to happen. So you see, I mixed a little bit of the going to events where it's a little bit intentional in terms of people that are like-minded in terms of business, but I also want to mix going to events where it's more on a like-minded hobby or interest. And then I'm planning on mixing, meeting new faces with maybe having some recommendations. The other thing that's going to help you in terms of networking is to apply the give without asking anything type of formula. Again, it's a little bit difficult when you get started, because when you get started in a business, and I really call that a business because you are a solopreneur as a realtor, you are a business of one, because you're going out there selling, representing yourself. Of course, you're part of a bigger umbrella, which I will talk about, but really you're a business of one. And when you're starting, obviously you're starting from base zero. You need at some point to make a little bit of an income. At least after 3 months or 6 months, you would want to see a bit of an income. And at the same time, you're unknown. If you look at people who have been in a business for a long time and they're at a stage where the business is coming and it's regular, etc. When you get started, you're gonna have to go through that phase of not making an income, or maybe taking a while to make an income. You saw I had my first contract after a month. So I was able to get a first commission within my first year. But it took a lot of work, and some people may not achieve that. Now you have two choices. Either you give yourself enough time to actually say, yeah, this was a bad year. It's my first year. Or you say, this is not a business for me. Now it's hard because everyone is different. But I would say this give without asking is going to help you with networking and getting some contacts. When you meet people around you, where you share information, where you share your maybe you're specialist in something, and when you meet people, you share that with them. happens to me all the time. When I talk to individuals, they realize that maybe I have a knowledge in something. It happened to me yesterday, and I won't give you the whole story because it's going to be a bit long, but I was in an event where it's something that I had to do. We'll say it's some training that I had to do. And of course, the goal was not linked to real estate. And I was just there, and I participated in the exercises in the training because no one else wanted to volunteer. And I have an easy time talking in public. It's not a problem for me. So of course I did it. But then everyone in the room at that point identified me as a person of resource. So I want you to keep that in mind. Being a person of resource is going to help you get identified and get business. So if you're going to be making yourself visible in any type, again, I insist on any type of scenario, whether it's going to be, helping people in your street, in your neighborhood, maybe you're the one that's going to speak, again, in some kind of form. When you're doing something that most people are not used to do, so there's a lot of activities in this world that some people have an easy time doing, and other people, it's no way. And speaking in public is one of them, by the way, where for me it's nothing. For most people, it's like, no way. So this is a great opportunity actually to identify the things that most people are scared of. And for you, it's easy. And then when you do them, it's immediate. You get immediate resource. So people will see you as a resource. And it's something that's not costing you any money. It's not costing you so much time. It's just using the skills that you have at the right time and then being identified as this person of resource. So volunteering is one of them. And again, this is large. It doesn't mean you have to go to an actual club and be assigned a specific purpose. But volunteering could just be, you see someone let's say you're somewhere and you see someone who needs help, and it could take you 10 seconds. People will be like, oh, thank you. You helped me, I don't know, carry my load there to my car. Or it could be, oh, what's your name? And, oh, you do real estate, etc. So people get to know you that way. So that's my number 2. And number 3 is, speed dating age, where people will immediately put you in a certain category. Make sure you showcase yourself well. So again, I go back to the branding online, and people really visualize who you are and where you work. I always like to use the word, and I know I did this exercise with job seekers, so I'm using a lot of my career coaching in real estate as well. When I was doing the training in job hunting, I was telling people there was an exercise where it was, well, how do you think, based on what you're wearing and showcasing yourself, what do people think that you're doing as a job? And that was really eye-opening when we did the exercise and the round tables. So really the question is, if you look at yourself, what do you think people would guess what you're doing as a job? So again, if you want to belong to a certain world, I'm using real estate as an example tonight, but any kind of work that you want to do, do you really fit this world or not? And if the answer is no, then there needs to be some work there in terms of being more successful in your networking. So what I did actually to showcase my skills also is a small video here that you can view on my YouTube channel. So I won't play it because it's available there, but just to show, a little bit when I work on my computer. And there's also the house there that I put in the video, so people can see that, again, what I was saying, do people see you in that job? So I'm showcasing myself on the job. And number 3, in terms of the third secret of, I would say, performance, is the tools. So you have the mindset, you're ready to go, you know what type of business you want to develop, and you're out there. Number 2, you finally know what type of people are missing around you to help you achieve your objectives or get business referrals, etc. But you need some tools because all this is going to take you a lot of time, obviously, and you want to be effective in how you spend your time. So where it starts is all with the organization. Are you prepared? Do you have the discipline? So I tend to split my week where I have days that are dedicated to visits and assessments of homes, days where I do administration, days where I do maybe some calling, etc. So I divide my time so that I tend to be more effective as opposed to trying to do everything at the same time. So it's really, what could you do to improve also how you organize yourself and be more performing. In the organization that I joined, in the network that I joined, the organization is made a little bit easier, I find, with online tools. So you have a metaverse where people can meet online. You have documents that you can download, checklists galore. You take your mandates online. So the fact that you have a full office online is really, you can carry it everywhere with you, as opposed to, oh, oops, I have to go back to a physical office. Here you have everything online, so I can connect at the clients and do everything from there. You will also need to follow up with clients regularly, so make sure that you have some time also to follow up. I tend to be quite, I put a lot of effort in communication. So I communicate with either clients, buyers and sellers. I'm regularly checking on them because I realize that in the end of the day, it's about the experience. All agencies will sell a mandate, and they all work with, they will all post the house online or the apartment, and they make the visits. I mean, the process is going to be very similar. What people will remember is the experience. Was this person available? Did they answer my questions, etc. So I find that communication is key in my view. That's my first year lesson in terms of my real estate experience. And I regularly assess my business. So what works, what doesn't work. Each, I would say, trimester, I check and see what I could do better, because it's really work in progress, I find. There's always things that can be improved. And also, because you're a business of one and you need to cut some deals, basically. If you're not cutting deals, then you need to question what it is that's missing. Is it on the networking part that you're not getting enough referrals? Usually, in my experience, it's coming from, it's looking at it from a funnel perspective. Your funnel is not full enough. So in sales, we talk a lot about funnels, because what's happening is that you need to start with a certain amount, and it's all in the figures. That's what I've also had to learn. So if you don't have enough people from the beginning that are contacting you, referring people to you, etc., basically your basket is not full enough. And because there's going to be a funnel, maybe you have 10 referrals, but only one of them will do business with you. Well, if you don't have enough people at the top, you're not going to cut anything. So if you only have one or two contacts, and those people don't work out, you're going to have an empty basket. So that's why you need to fill your tunnel, your funnel, as much as possible, so that at least you end up with having at least one deal. So that's how I look at it. So I built a buyer and a seller file. Again, I would put, because someone gave me this great feedback, which I appreciate, on my French presentation. In certain countries, you can't keep people's details for more than a certain amount of time. Now, I'm not sharing these details with anybody. It's just for me. It's in my personal file. I think keeping people's details, in my view, especially in a job where it's all about networking and putting people in contact, it's a pity if you have someone that's visiting a house or an apartment and it doesn't work out, and 3 months later you have the same type of good. And it would be a pity not to have kept this person's phone number or email to say, hey, you know what, sorry, it didn't work out last 3 months, but now I have pretty much the same thing that's available in the market. So it's more on that end. So I'm not keeping people's details for the sake of it. It's more, well, look, I have people who are looking for a certain type of property, and wouldn't it be great if I get it in 6 months, 3 or 6 months, and I can call them and say, hey, finally got it. Those people will probably be happy to hear about me. So that's why I have this listing and these two files, and also have people. So I have buyers, obviously, sellers and buyers. because again, it's the same thing with sellers. Maybe they're saying, hey, I'm not interested in working with you in January 2024. But guess what? In 3 months, I still have no calls, no visits. And maybe now, Isabel, I want to work with you because I do need to sell my home. And in the end, everyone needs to sell. If you're putting something out to the market, the end objective is to sell. Now, the timing is different for every seller, but they need to sell. So keeping in touch with them, I find, works very well. Now, going into why I joined EXP. So I shared with you my first experience in real estate. But how did I choose my network? Because there's so many of them, and depending on where you're based, you probably have them in your backyard as well. EXP made sense for me, so I explain why. My first reason to choose EXP, well, I had watched some videos just like what you're going to watch when you see me tonight. But I watched a lot of videos, and one video was sharing the opportunity, and I thought, well, how great is that? You can work pretty much the amount of time that you want to put in. So you can put in 10%, 20%, 50, 100% of your time. Of course, your income is going to vary, but I thought that was a great opportunity. Also, it's the biggest and fastest growing real estate in the world. So when people say to you locally, hey, we're the number one network in, complete the sentence, UK or France, or, well, yeah, you're the number one in that country, but on a global scale, you're number 100. So for me, being number one in a worldwide situation was very important. Also, the number of agents. I mean, think about it. Worldwide, you have 89,000 agents, so you can connect with anybody in the world. So if you're, it's really relevant for people viewing my channel, because if you're an expat and today you're in Canada, but in 6 months you may be in, I don't know, another country in the US or wherever, you could be interested in some type of opportunity where you can carry, and I will make another video where I talk about portable careers. I'm a big fan of portable careers, by the way, because no one knows where they're going to be in the future. And of course, especially, based on the people that you meet and the lifestyle. Portable career. EXP is 100% portable. You can take it with you everywhere. 24 countries. That's covering a huge part of the world. So, and maybe there's a possibility where you can be the first person to start opening an office in your country. Why not? So huge opportunity, because we're at the stage now where we're big enough to be credible, to have a branding, to be respected, but there's still a lot of opportunity to either start businesses in some countries, or to be the first one in a region, or to be in smaller teams where people still don't know you, so they ask about you, and you can position the brand the way that you want. This was huge for me. I don't want people to have a judgment on the brand. I want to say, people, I don't know EXP, and just explain to them what we're doing. True international flavor. I just explained why. The values are focused on you, the consultant. So if you want to work 10% of the time, no one is going to say, hey, where were you yesterday? I heard that with another network, and I was part of, I heard the conversation. I was there. Where are you at? We want you tomorrow. We have a meeting. Come on. How is that? I mean, makes you feel like a 10-year-old. I don't want that. I mean, I'm in a part of my life now where I absolutely don't want someone to call me and say, where are you? How come you're not delivering more, etc. I'm a grown up. So at EXP, you're taken as an adult, and you run your own business. Also, what I found, the value of the package is great. I mean, the price, the service, and the tools all lined up. Again, I'm not talking about numbers in this presentation. It's more about sharing with you my experience. If you want to know more about figures and all that, there's going to be some time and place to do that. So finally, I wanted to be an American style pioneer. So it was all about, again, I'm going to be a person that people haven't heard about, EXP. It's okay. I'm going to share with them what it's about. So creating my own path, putting the positioning that I wanted into the brand, managing my own business. I love that. So you see me here. So I like this photo because it's a little bit, I call it autonomous and united, or global team, where see you have all these people there. That's the international team that you can potentially work with if you want to, but you are your own business and you can decide. So I can decide to stay here, I can go here, I can go here. I like the idea of it's available, but I don't have to, I don't feel pressured by the group. I don't have to join the group, but it's available. I love this idea. I don't know about you, but I love the idea of having access to something, but not being forced or imposed on something. And finally, my last tips for a smooth 2024. I love this, and I found this. Well, I saw this online, the word slashing, and I use it here. So, what I call slashing means it's probably more of a younger generation wording, but it's about having multiple streams of income. So, people who are slashers, they're usually working maybe 2 or 3 jobs, or it could be a job, and then they have what they call a side gig, or maybe they start a course online, or they're doing some other things. Having multiple streams of income is very 2024, because as we all saw, the world is unpredictable. Our retirement plans are unpredictable. I mean, we're in debt everywhere in the world. So countries are in debt. Governments don't have the answer for us, especially long term. So I think especially people who are starting out their careers, or even people who are at the end now and say, well, my retirement, I've done the calculations and it's really not great. So everyone, I think, needs some kind of other sources of income. So that's my recommendation to you. And EXP, by the way, is a great way to mix with an existing activity. So you could be now full-time employee somewhere, but your retirement is not what you expected. Why not start doing something also on the side that's going to complete your retirement? Number two, anyone, really anyone could master their time better. We can all learn about that. So, and actually, that's beyond, again, real estate. I think if we could all master our time, take out a little bit of Netflix time there, here and there, we could achieve much more. And that applies to me as well, by the way. Avoiding what I call toxic missions. So that would be what I mean by toxic missions is if you're in real estate, especially, you have to choose your mandate. So if you work with someone that's going to be difficult, or the type of property you're selling is going to make you waste a lot of time. So all these things you learn through experience as well, but I think the tips that I'm providing here are tips based on my first year, things I could do better. So those are all on a one page here. So avoid toxic missions, master time better, choose connections wisely. I met a lot of great people, but I realized now, assessing my 2023, I had a bit of an issue with a couple of people in the business, and I realized that and I'm, in a way, I'm happy to hear it from long-term experienced realtors or people in the business who are saying pretty much the same thing. So it means I'm not so inexperienced in terms of connections, but I think you always have to really think. Sometimes in real estate, you want to connect with people because you think they can help you cut the deal, they can help you finalize the deal, or get that closure where you can get your commission. But sometimes the hassle of working with certain personalities or unreliable people, and people who lack integrity, the cost of all this added up is going to be worse than waiting for either selling on your own or meeting the right partner that's going to sell with you. Is the best way I could think about putting it together. Stay balanced with other activities, because real estate is a very passion type of business. So I know I'm not counting my hours because I like it, but you may have a life on your own, and people might get a bit upset if you're not there. So balancing things would be helpful. And finally, protect your commission. So Make sure that everything is on paper. I wouldn't recommend working without a mandate, because in our business, in this type of business, if it's not in writing somewhere, it doesn't exist, and you can't really, you have nothing to show for it. And there's lots of steps that need to happen to fulfill all the legal requirements. And of course, the biggest sport is to try not to pay people who have done the work. So you have to be aware of that. Everyone will do what they can to avoid paying you. So being aware of that most people are going to avoid paying you, make sure that you lock each step of the process, and you cover yourself basically. So that's it for my experience, first year in business in real estate. What I wanted to share with you now, again, I didn't share all the nitty gritty, how much does it cost to join EXP and all of these things, because this presentation is really about talking about my experience. Is that something you would want to experience for yourself? Does it make sense for you now to have a second activity, or even to shift gears and go into real estate? This is why the time with me there is going to be more about finding out if you're a good fit, and sharing with you also more of this, what I call more the practical details of figures and all that. So if you want to do that, I will put the link below the video so that you can click on it and book the call with me. You can do that anytime, and we can have a short conversation. We share whether that's going to be a good deal for you, whether EXP is an option for you in the country where you are, because it's not everywhere in the world, but I think there's enough countries. And how would that work out for you basically? So yeah, I think that's what I can offer to you. I hope that you make that step to call me, and to start basically this new year 2024, to make a step for yourself, for your financial freedom. And as I said earlier, it's not only financial, but it's emotional, because for me they go together. You can be emotionally free if you don't have the wealth, so to say, or the financial resources. And you can't really, if you have the financial resources but you're not feeling great and you don't have the mindset, it's not working out either. So really what I want is for people to have both, but it takes a little bit of work. So thank you for those of you who watched until the end, and I'll talk to you soon.